This is a story of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We remember him during the time of the green growing season. Martin was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. His mother and father called him Michael, after his father. But when he was 5, his father changed both their names to Martin Luther King in honor of the great German reformer from the 16th century. That German reformer fought to make the world better, and Martin and his father did too. Martin had an older sister and younger brother. His father gathered the family for dinner every night around the dinner table at 6 o'clock in the evening. He led them in lively discussions about God and the world. Daddy King felt it was important to discuss serious things with his children, even when they were very young. They often talked about how all people should be treated with respect. Martin's mother also talked with the children about important things. When Martin was 6, his best friend, who was white, told him that his parents said they couldn't play together anymore. This confused Martin. He became sad and angry. His mother took him on her lap and told him about slavery and prejudice. Prejudice is when someone doesn't like you just because they don't like the color of your skin. She reminded him that there are places in the Bible where the people of God overcame slavery and prejudice. He could too. When Martin grew up, he became a Baptist minister, just like his father and grandfather. He also studied for many years and became a doctor of theology. That's why he is known as Dr. King. He also worked hard for the dream that Black Americans would no longer be treated differently because of the color of their skin. No one knew how real change might begin until one day in 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, a Black woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus for a white person. This changed everything. In those days, buses were divided into white, mixed, and Black sections. Rosa Parks was sitting in the mixed section. But by law, Black people still had to move to the back of the bus when told to. The bus driver told her to move to make room for some white people who got onto the bus. The other Black people moved, but Rosa didn't. She wasn't tired, she said, just tired of giving in to unjust laws. She was arrested, and Black Americans became angry when they heard about it. Dr. King helped the Black people of Montgomery fight back peacefully. They stopped taking the bus. This way, the bus company lost money. Black people walked to work for 381 days, sometimes for many miles. And do you know what happened? The city changed the law that forced Black people to sit in the back of the bus. They could sit anywhere they wanted to. This was the first of many protests Dr. King organized that changed America forever. Working for change is never easy. It takes courage and faith. Many people were mean to Dr. King and his family. Someone tried to blow up their house. Many tried to scare them with their words, and also with knives and guns. Dr. King was arrested and placed in jail 29 times for trying to change things by protesting against unjust laws. In 1963, a huge crowd of people came to Washington, D.C. to march for jobs and freedom. That's when Dr. King made his most famous speech. He said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." This was also the year when he won the Nobel Peace Prize at age 34. The next year, the Civil Rights Act turned his dream into law, and the next year, the Voting Rights Act was passed. But there was still more work to be done. Dr. King continued to travel the country working for change until one day in 1968, he was killed. He was in Memphis, Tennessee, to lead another protest. He was buried in Atlanta, where he was born. We remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because of his dream that Black Americans will be treated the same as everyone else, and because he courageously traveled everywhere to make this dream come true. Here is the table that helps us remember the important times he and his family sat around the dinner table, talking about serious things. Here's the bus that helps us remember how Martin organized a protest about what happened to Rosa Parks to change the unjust rule that Black people had to always sit in the back of the bus. Here are the people of God who remind us of Martin's dream that his children and people everywhere would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Here is the red heart that reminds us of Martin's great courage and love of peace. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now I wonder what part of Dr. Martin Luther King's story you like the best. I wonder what part of the story is the most important. I wonder what part of the story is about you, or where you might be in the story. I wonder if there's any part of the story we might leave out and still have all the story we need.